Live now.
Good.
We're live now.
Hey, Nakia.
Hey, Marsha.
And hello to our fabulous investors out there this Wednesday afternoon, this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to the investor chat. And we're going to be talking about a topic that I think we have a lot of issues with deciding when we should be selling stocks or selling shares. I mean, it's easy to analyze and know, okay, this is what I'm going to buy. But when it comes to selling, we kind of sometimes hit a roadblock. And so what we're going to talk about briefly today in our 20 to 25 minutes, because I work out at 6:30, is some of the or three things you should know when you are deciding to sell a stock. And that stock is either going to be, well, first, disclaimer. Let's do that first, because we are going to be talking about some stocks. And when we talk about them, it's not a recommendation for you to buy it or sell it or hold it. What we're talking about is for educational purposes only. If you do decide to buy, sell, at least do your research first. Okay, that's that. So when we talk about, I want to focus in on my process and what I have done and why I have done the things that I'm doing. Because many of you who have followed me know that I've made this transition from one type of portfolio, and I'm making a transition into another type of portfolio. And so all of those stocks that I had in my growth portfolio, the Tesla, the Amazon, what other companies did I have? Square, PayPal. That was my original portfolio that I had. And now that I've switched over to a much more of become more of a dividend growth investor, which means that I'm more investing in companies that actually will give me dividends. There's been a transition in that portfolio. And so because I am now currently a long-term dividend growth investor, which means that the companies that I buy now, I'm going to buy and I'm going to hold them rather than doing a lot of selling within the portfolio. So yeah, that's where we're going to go. So I'm going to talk about, okay, so how do you decide to sell some stocks? Well, I got the 3 Ps. I like to try to figure out how to memorize stuff. You know, when you get older, it doesn't stick as well. So you just have to find little ways of trying to remember things. And I call these, hi Nancy, I call these my 3 Ps. So when to decide to sell a stock. So the thing that we have been talking about all this summer on these investor chats have been, when you decide that you want to build a portfolio, what's the first thing you really need? You need a plan. How you're going to build it, what type of stocks you're going to have in the portfolio, the number of stocks you're going to have in the portfolio, things like this. Well, when you've decided that one particular company does not fit into your plan, then it's time to at least consider, okay, selling this stock. Such as my Amazon stock. I just sold that 2 days ago. because things in my plan have changed. I now want to be able to invest in companies that are going to give me dividends.
Dividends.
Amazon does not give me dividends.
Yes.
And yes, I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't tough to do it.
Because they're considered a growth stock, correct?
Yes, yes.
Right.
And the money that was made from that Amazon was, I bought it at a pretty, a lower price than what it is now.
It's worth now.
Yeah, today Amazon closed at $3,400. I certainly didn't pay that much for it when I bought it.
Bought it.
In fact, I had one client that I was working with. She bought Amazon when it was around, and she's been building on it, but she bought it when it's $800 a share. So she's got a pretty nice amount of Amazon stock in her portfolio. But as I said before, I had to make a decision that this didn't fit into what I wanted to do. And so I made the decision to sell it and be done with it. And not only that, but to replace it with a dividend growth stock. Mm-hmm. The same thing with my Tesla. I bought Tesla 2 years ago. Yeah. Certainly not at the price it is now.
No.
But I ended up selling it because Tesla doesn't give me dividends. And the money that I made off of Tesla was strictly because I bought it at a lower price and sold it at a higher price. And so first P, do you pay tax? Oh, yes. Nancy,
I was going to ask a really good question. Do you pay taxes on it for selling it? Yes, you do.
Yes. You know, Uncle Sam is going to get his. So if I made a profit, he's got his hand out and he's ready to take some of his. So when I do my taxes for in 2022, yes, I will be paying taxes on those two stocks that I sold or any other stocks that I sold and made a profit. So yes, it's called capital gains tax. So that's the one thing. When a company in your portfolio does not fit your plan for building your portfolio, consider selling it and replacing it with the type of company that fits your portfolio. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's number one. And number two is what I just talked about, taking the profits. Yes, because when you buy it low and you sell it high, you know, you've made a profit. I mean, if you bought a stock at $60 a share and 2 years later, it's up to $200 a share, you've made about a 200% profit. So consider now, when you do that, you don't have to sell the whole, all of it. You can just sell some of it and keep some. But in the case of Amazon and Tesla, because they didn't fit into my plan, because I've made the profit, I just decided to just sell it all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's what I did. So I just took the profit. And the other thing is, when we talk about profits, is when you do buy low and when you do sell high, there is a good chance that value of your portfolio, because of the price increase.
Oh, I know where you're getting at.
it can kind of overweight your portfolio in one particular company.
Yeah, like putting your eggs all in one basket, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, that too, but because of the price increase, the value of your portfolio it gets a little bit overweight unbalanced in one particular company. And so when we do start developing a portfolio, we want to try to keep at least an equal weighting of all the companies you have in your
That's
portfolio.
really, really good
So,
advice.
mhm.
That's really
So
good
if you
advice.
if you have around 25 stocks in your portfolio, the percentage of weight should be about 4% of each of the stocks. That way you kind of keep a nice equal weighting of your stocks. And that's also a part of taking profits, because you don't want one stock to be more overweight than the other stocks.
Yes,
So
and you do
taking,
have a choice. You have a choice to what to do with your profits. You can
mhm,
reinvest it or
you
take
can,
it and use it what you like to use it
yeah,
for.
yeah, you can either reinvest it in another company or put it in your pocket and find something to do. And see, that's another piece. We didn't talk about it, but if you need to pay off something,
Hmm.
suppose you have a kid in college and you've been having this portfolio that you've been building, and you need to pay off something, some bills or something. That's what it's for.
It's for.
Hmm. Hmm. So taking profit is another reason to decide to sell a stock. Hmm. So doesn't fit your plan. You want to take your profits. And another reason to decide to sell one of your companies or sell some shares is that company is not making you money. It's the performance is just, it's a
Poor.
dud. Um, uh, when, of course, we're constantly looking at, monitoring our portfolio too. So when I want to talk about poor performing, I want to define that as, when you initially analyze a stock,
Hmm.
you look at things like the revenues. Is the company growing? Are the revenues growing? Is the earnings per share growing? And something that you used to harp on is free cash flow.
Okay. Yes.
Because this is what our dividends come from too. So if you have a company that for some reason maybe it has a really bad quarter, and that's why one of the things we want to follow is every quarter when the company starts reporting its earnings and revenues.
Hmm.
Suppose it has a bad quarter. Okay, you can accept that. Wait and see what's happening with the company. Second time around, if it's the next quarter, the company is still not performing well, something's going on, that's a red flag.
Hmm.
And so you start kind of looking at things, and suppose it's not necessarily the market is going down, it's just that one particular company that's in your portfolio. Okay, you decide, well, I'm just going to continue to watch and see if it's going to turn around. In the meantime, you're starting to do some investigation with the company.
Investigations, right?
Third quarter comes around and this company is still hasn't pulled itself up. It's like, okay,
It's time to sell it.
yeah, we almost hitting on a year and you're still not making the money that you should be. Then it's time to start thinking about, maybe I should replace this company with a better performing company.
Mhm.
And so that's the other piece. In the case of when you have a dividend growth company, one of my criteria is that if this company, now I'm getting income from the dividends.
Dividends, right?
A company can decide, or the management of a company can decide that, okay, we're going to cut the dividend or we're going to suspend the dividend. Then
You
you're cutting
consider
into my income.
that. You call that poor performing.
Yes. And case in point, Disney.
Disney, yeah.
Has done that. Now I do have this. I
Big
still have it
Disney.
on in my portfolio, but it is on the chopping block
Hmm.
because last year, with the pandemic, of course, and the closing of the parks, Disney
Hmm.
decided to suspend their dividend. So we didn't get a dividend last year.
Mm.
And at the last, also they said that they were going to reevaluate things to see if they were going to give it this year.
No. Interesting.
And so now they did make up for it because they got into the streaming. And so they've increased their price, but it wasn't based on the parks. It was more or less based on their streaming and everything that they're doing with streamings and movies. So they're still making money, but they're not making money and giving me my dividends. Mm-hmm. Now Disney is also a little bit different, and then most companies will give you dividends quarterly. So every 3 months you'll be getting either a paycheck or some money coming in. You're right. And Disney only gives you dividends once a year.
Right now it's none a year.
Now it's none. And so for me, I'm looking at replacing Disney to a company that is going to give me my dividends. So yeah, those are the 3 things that I kind of look for when I decide, is this company at a point where I should consider selling it? So it doesn't fit my plan. If I'm going to go take the profits and do something else with it, or it's not performing up to par, I will replace it. And so that's the process now, going from the type of portfolio I had as a growth portfolio into a dividend growth portfolio. So I'm replacing most of those growth stocks now with dividend growth stocks. Yep. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I hope everybody understands the benefit of dividend growth stock. That there is a difference between the two.
Yes.
Of
yes.
growth and dividend growth stocks. Simplest form is dividends.
And with the dividend growth, these are companies that increase the dividends that they're paying you every year. So you have an increase every year. They're adding on to their dividends. Nancy says, should we invest in companies that invest in them? Thank you. That invest in themselves, in their company. If not, that is a red flag not to buy. Oh, you mean when they buy back their shares? Is that what you're talking about? And that's a good thing when you have a company that is buying back their shares too. Because that means they're taking off some of the shares, and that's more for us investors.
Yeah. So that's a good red flag.
Yeah, that's a good thing when you have companies buying back their shares. Okay. Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Nancy.
Nancy, I do too.
Yeah. So while we're on the topic of dividend growth stocks, okay, good, Nancy. Do you have any dividend growth companies in your portfolio, Nancy or Nikia or anyone out there? Let me know what dividend growth companies you actually have. Kind of share with us. Anybody? Let's see. I'm trying to look at my portfolio.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing, I still have my, I bought some JP Morgan Chase. Of course, my pharmaceutical companies, Merck is one.
Merck is one I have.
You have Merck? Okay.
Yeah. I was researching a total different company and came upon that one.
Oh, excellent. I was looking at Kroger. I was
looking at Kroger. I'm jelly.
No, Nancy.
Nancy has Kroger.
She has Kroger. I know there was something about, I can't remember what it was, but it is on my watch list. I'm looking at Kroger too.
I think Nancy may be asking this question too, like where to put dividend stocks. You do it in an IRA or rollover due to
Um,
taxes.
I have it in my brokerage account. And I do believe that you can put them, yeah, some stock.
Oh, okay. Oh, look like we might have freezed up. I know I can mention some that I have until everything kind of comes back to normal. Let me know if you guys can still hear us. Okay, I see you. I'm good with just waiting on the 10 seconds it takes to like catch up.
Oh, okay. It just went blank.
Yeah, it did. And then it's like, let's wait to give it time to catch back up. Sometimes it takes 10 seconds to catch up.
Okay. Oh, where to put the, yes, you can either put them in a individual retirement account. And I have, like I said, I have it in my rollover retirement account and also my brokerage account, my individual brokerage account. Mm-hmm.
Clorox and Cisco are the two I have.
We talked about Clorox.
Yeah, Clorox.
They had a big drop recently, and I kind of stocked up on that one.
Clorox, Cisco.
Cisco,
And
the tech company.
tech company, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the two that I have. I know I have like two more.
Mm-hmm. So
Because
yeah,
there's some I don't want to let go yet.
I know.
We should talk about that another time.
Yeah,
Some
that
of them you're like you have a
emotional connection.
Emotional connection with.
Yeah, yeah. But once you start thinking about why you're doing it and why you need to let go of the stock, you can really talk yourself through it. And sometimes that's what it takes, especially when I had to let go of Tesla. But I did talk my way through it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially because of, yeah.
See, and the other thing, I'm going to say this, and then we can finish up. Okay. One of the things that when we talk about taking profit, now we all know that the stock market has been going up, 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 up. Mm-hmm. At some point in the future, I don't know when, it's going to correct itself. And when I say that, I mean it's going to drop. Mm-hmm. And so I want you to keep this in mind. When you've had a company that, and this goes under profit, when you've made so much profit from a company, knowing that the market is up as much as it is, you might want to consider just taking some of that profit off of the table. Because even though you've made a lot of profit when you bought low and it's up here now, it's called unrealized gain. That's just money that's paper gains. Mm-hmm. You want to take that paper gains and put it in your pocket. Because what will happen when the market crashes is that price that went like this is going to go this. So you're going to lose that way. You will lose it. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind also.
Good risk management tip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It helps to know when to sell. The 3 P's of deciding to sell a stock.
Yes.
Has to fit your plan.
Nancy wants to know how much taxes that they take out. And I'm thinking that depends on what tax bracket you're in also. So.
Good question.
But it's okay to pay taxes. That means you're making money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, we gotta pay our taxes.
You got to pay the taxes. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're going to wrap it up for this particular investor chat. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us, asking the questions and wanting to know more about investing. And that's what we're here to do, to help you build your portfolio so that
Mhm.
at some point your portfolio is going to be your paycheck, especially if you got dividend growth stocks.
Got it.
All right. So have a good evening, everyone. And we will see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.